Hello everyone, Combi Driver here, coming back at you with a beginner's guide for Watkins Glen in Group 3. This combo is featured in this week's Daily C, and the goal here is to show you how to improve your lap, stay consistent, and what are common mistakes to avoid in this track. Hopefully this guide will assist you on your way to master this track. We are using the BMW M6 Endurance model, which is a better choice in terms of tire wear for the race than the Supra, and I will explain why at the end. We begin with turn 1. This is a very important corner as is the one before a long flat out section. Here you need to focus on the exit. Your brake marker should be between the 200 and 300 meter board. I use this part where the barrier changes to brake just before it. Here you don't want to rush your entry. First, reduce the speed significantly and then trail brake while turning. Ideally, you will put the power down just as you're touching the apex. You can use a lot of track on the way out, so you can open your steering angle quite early. Now, what are some important mistakes to avoid? The first is not reducing the speed enough, and 2, turning too early. See, here I turn before the last board, and as a consequence I had to steer more to put the car straight on the way out, and once I reached the curb, this unsettled the car. Practice these two aspects and you will have a better exit. Fast forward to the bus stop. This part takes a little bit of time to practice. You might want to go progressively with the speed. Pick the 300 board as your brake marker here. Braking is done in 2 moments. First, brake hard for a bit and then trail brake, aiming for the space between the yellow line and the barrier. Go off the brakes while on the curb and brake a little bit to turn left better. This will allow you to get on the accelerator faster. Now on the way out, be careful with the throttle input and the curb, especially if you touch the grass, because with the new physics it unsettles the car. For turn 5, this next long right-hander, start dropping speed a little bit as you pass the curb on the right. Use the brakes at around 30% to do so. This should help you put the car on the right and start accelerating as you see this piece of tarmac, but modulate your throttle so you don't go wider than the curve on the outside, as that is a penalty. What is a mistake to avoid here? Again, is going too fast, like here. Going too fast in the corner will compromise your speed exit, or if you go too fast, you will get a penalty. For next turn, turn 6, you pick your brake marker at the 200 meter board, and for this, it's important to start turning as soon as you hit the brakes in order to stick to the left curb. So tap the brakes hard and immediately go for 60% brake pressure, otherwise you will oversteer and lose time. On the way out, it's very important to accelerate progressively on third gear, because it's very easy to lose the rear slowly. So start with 50% throttle as you see the end of the fence in front and increase it as you turn and put the car straight back. Next turn is toe, an uphill right-hander. You're going to brake between the 100 and 200 meter board, and you're going to quickly transition into trail braking. For this one, it's not necessary to stick to the inside curve that will likely unstabilize the car. The best line to follow is the darker part on the tarmac. Get into third gear and progressively apply the throttle at 80%. And as you see the beginning of the fence on the left, you can go full throttle. It is important here to avoid acceleration too quickly because you can lose the rear very easily. This upcoming turn tends to be tricky on the way out. So here we're braking a little bit past the 200 meter board, reducing the most amount of speed on a straight line and then trail braking a little bit, aiming for the curb. This turn isn't as close as it looks. You're going to accelerate as you reach the apex. Again, progressive acceleration is key and it's going to help rotate the car. You want to use as much track as you can going over the curb on the way out, but this is an important mistake to avoid. If you go over the curb while still on rotation, you are going to lose the rear. You want to get the car over the curb as straight as possible. For turn 9, use the 100 meter board as a mark and brake before it at around 120 meters. Here it's important to turn as soon as you hit the brakes, so trail braking is going to be your friend. Reduce speed at around 105 km per hour And as you see the blue marshal post in front of you, you can accelerate progressively while still turning. You need to be patient with the throttle here not to lose the rear again. Next turn is a fast left-hander. Go off the throttle past the 200-meter board and apply a little tap of brakes if necessary. The idea is that you can accelerate as you reach the curb on the left and don't go off the track on the way out. For last turn, it's important to rapidly position the car to the left to prepare for entry. Brake at 50% as the concrete barrier on the left ends and start turning the car into the right looking for the curb, but don't get over it. Accelerate as you reach the curb. Here you can go full throttle fast because you are carrying speed and have downforce. Just be careful with the wall on the outside. As you saw, I modulated the throttle to avoid it. And that's it. This is a lap around Watkins Glen. Now, for racing conditions, this BMW allows you to keep a consistent pace easily if you underdrive the car a little bit. This is brake 10 to 20 meters before in the turn and try not to steer too aggressive. Other cars like the Supra, which is the meta car now, will lose its tires by the end of the race, dropping pace considerably and becoming a trickier car to handle. Here's where the BMW has an edge, even though it doesn't have that straight line speed, as it's going to hold better during those last laps. We have made it to the end of the video. I hope you find this guide useful and that you can use this as a base to improve your pace and avoid mistakes. It will mean the world to me if you support the channel by leaving a like on the video and subscribe, as I will continue uploading more GT7 content. This was Combi Driver. I hope you're enjoying this week's race. Have fun and I will see you next time.